Oh boy. Sixth time doing this fucking video because fucking camera had a screw up on me. Whatever. So hopefully I get this right. So I'm getting really annoyed right now. Alright, so welcome everybody to Killer Demon 669. I'm Peter Gilmore, your angry host. And that's Rosa. Say hi, Rosa. Okay, she's not gonna say hi. I forgot. She's mad at me. She's mad it's Labor Day, that's why. So, anyway, welcome to Killer Demon 669. Make sure you like this video. Hit that subscribe button down below. And like and subscribe to my other channels, likewise, down below. Alright, I'm going to try to get this video done quickly. And hopefully I don't have to redo it 600 million times! Thank you to the camera. So, anyway, Raw emanated from Des Moines, Iowa, the home of Slipknot! Doom! So, Raw tonight, shoot myself in the head. I should have watched Nitro on the WWE Network. Actually, I don't got the WWE Network. I could have watched the best of Nitro for free! Oh, what a horrible Raw this was. Horrible. Horrible. It starts off with the highlight reel with Chris Jericho, and he introduces us to Raw is Jericho! The Ayatollah Rock and Roller! Chris Jericho, the guy that's the lead singer of Fozzy. By the way, get their new album, If You Want to Start a War, out right now. We don't have it, so. Would you like to get Fozzy's new album? No? Are you gonna talk at least tonight? And mess up my video? Booby? I hate her, but I love her at the same time. Anyway, so he says that Labor Day is a holiday for hardworking people. Then he talks about Randy Orton being a man who hasn't worked a day in his life. So he introduces Orton to come out to the ring, but Orton doesn't come out alone. He comes out with the Authority, Triple H, Kane, and Seth Rollins, all in business suits. So they get in the ring, and then Chris tells Randy Orton, "Well, I didn't think you'd bring your lore from a sellout, suck up, and schnoz to the ring." And Kane's about to speak, but Triple H gets on the mic and praises Y2J a little bit. Then he start dropping insults on each other. And, Chris saying he doesn't conduct business, that Triple H doesn't conduct business unless his wife is in jail or some shit like that. And then Kid was like, ooh, nice tie. They start training looks. It was like, okay, It was kind of funny, but at the same time, I was like, where's this going to go? So, Triple H says that Chris should thank him for being on the most historic highlight reel in history because he's been reviewing the match with Cena and Orton at SummerSlam, and he's heard everything that the critics and the announcers have said. And he says, we can all rewatch that now on the WWE Network for a low price of $9.99. How many times are they going to promote the stupid network? 20 times at least on Raw. I got to take account next week. It's getting pathetic. So, he says it's not best for business to have a rematch between Brock and Cena, and he's contemplating on naming a new number one contender for Night of Champions. Should be Lesnar Orton. So, Chris talks about the network price again. That's two. And how Triple H might change his mind for giving Cena his rematch that he rightly deserves. And then Orton says, well, I should be the man to beat Lesnar because I have a rematch that I haven't gotten since WrestleMania. So, and then Kane's like, well, it should be me. I'm Kane. And then Seth gets on the mic. This is a big clusterfuck of a segment as it is. He says, well, it should be me. He says, I'm the future of the WWE. No, Seth, no. I mean, you are a great wrestler, Seth, but you are not the future. I'm sorry. It's Kevin Steen. And I put my foot down saying that right now. Even Rosa will agree with me. But she's playing her game, so. Where was I? So the fans are going nuts as Seth is speaking because he's from Iowa. So I thought he moved. Well, that's another story. He says the future has arrived, And I lost my spot. Not my dog spot, leave a spot, whatever. So he basically says that he's the future is now, and he's Mr. Money in the Bank. He's the man who took out Dean Ambrose 2 weeks ago, and he's the most hated man in the locker room. Then Chris Jericho does his usual "me want title match" stuff. Like he wants to be put in the mix. So then Cena comes out, and he's all pissed off, and he starts admonishing Triple H, saying that, well, since your boys HBK and Flair said that I can't beat Lesnar, and you think that I can and won't do it, you know. Then he mentions Triple H tapping out the Bryan at WrestleMania. I don't know why you mentioned it. And he says Triple H runs the company as a COO, but he doesn't care what Triple H has heard. And Cena mentions his rematch clause that was granted by Triple H a couple weeks ago. And now yet you're denying me of the rematch. And if you deny me, I'm going to sue you for everything you have, become the COO, and then fire you. That's never going to happen. If it did, the WWE will fall apart much as it is right now. So, just saying. So Cena says the rematch is still gonna be on between him and Lesnar at Night of Champions, and he's gonna beat Lesnar's ass at Night of Champions. That sounds gay, doesn't it? Then Triple H is like, "Whoa, you're gonna sue me?" You know. Then he's like, "Maybe your new catchphrase should be hustle, loyalty, respect, lawsuit." So he questions Cena's threat, and he's saying, "Well, I'm trying to protect against a big lawsuit now." Whatever. He says Cena's a simple-minded man and knows what it takes to be COO. He says he knows what it takes to be COO, and he does what's best for business every single day. I don't believe that. And he admits Cena can't be champion because it's not best for business. Thank you. And saying that Cena's career ending at Night of Champions is not best for business because he's the big cash cow, blah, 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 blah. And then Seth gets on mic and says, well, let him have his rematch, because you know there can always be a plan B cashing in, which I don't know when that's going to happen. Then Owen's like, yeah, I agree, you know, but I've earned my title shot. I want my rematch. I want to cash in my rematch clause since I've had it since WrestleMania, like I mentioned before. And Chris like, well, you've had title rematches and you lost them all. He has. I think he has. Pretty sure. He says his last good match was getting speared by Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. And then Orton's like, well, that win by Roman Reigns doesn't mean anything, you know. And if he was in the ring right now, I would deck him. So then Orton and Chris Jericho have a little squabble. And then Roman Reigns comes out, making this segment more, you know, clusterfuckery. So Roman Reigns like tells Orton, I'm in the ring, Randy. You gonna punch me now? I thought so. So, you know that's gonna happen. So he puts his name in. Well, first he says he's sorry for ruining Seth's eulogy of Dean Ambrose last week and almost killing him with a cinder block. Then he throws his name into the hat for the WWE title, and then Triple H is like, "Well, everyone in the ring could fight Lesnar, but I don't believe. You know, says I don't believe in Cena's resolve, and Cena doesn't either." He wants to see if everyone can prove themselves tonight. So he announces a six-man tag between Cena, Reigns, and WJ. Woo! Alrighty! No. And Y2J taking on Kane, Seth, and Orton in the main event. And we're going to see who can earn and prove their spot, you know, prove who's worth, basically. And he says he's going to watch from ringside. So that was basically the end of the segment. Or so we thought. As Seth tries to attack Roman Reigns from behind with the briefcase, basically hyping up their match at Night of Champions that Roman Reigns is probably going to win anyway. But Roman Reigns knocks him out of the ring, and then he takes his case and throws it right at him. So, it was an okay segment, you know, kind of too long. It lasted like 20 minutes. It just didn't go anywhere until near the end. But it was okay, so I give it 3.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we find out that Big Show and Mark Henry are going to take on Harper and Rowan later. And we see a video shown from SmackDown with Sheamus and Damian Sandow and The Miz trying to get involved after the match, but he left. And Dolph Ziggler came down, put Miz into the ring. Sheamus tries to go for the bro kick, but he hit Sandow anyway. So we're going to get to our first match tonight. Dolph Ziggler and Sheamus teaming up against Cesaro and The Miz. This match was okay. Pretty much back and forth throughout the match. Dolph and Cesaro started off. Cesaro got the better of the attack. Miz comes in, kicks Dolph's head off a little bit, but, you know, every time that Dolph came back, tried to hit the face. You know, he had to go outside where Damien Sandow was. I guess they formed a little union now. I don't know. And they had a makeup artist who was a female indie wrestler. I forgot her name. Doesn't matter anyway. So Miz tries to get away after Dolph came back. So Sheamus attacks him, brings him into the ring, and he beats the crap out of him for a while. Hits the clubbing blows on the ropes about 20 times. And then Miz gets a blind tag to Cesaro, hits a dropkick to Sheamus. And then Cesaro beats on Sheamus for a while. Dolph gets the hot tag. He takes apart the Miz. He tries to go for the Famouser, not once, but twice. Completely missed on both. And then Sandow tries to get into the ring, and he calls, "Action!" So he tries to get in the ring, but the referee stops him. Dolph hits a zigzag on Sandow. This causes, Sandow causes a distraction to his advantage as Miz comes from the other side of the ring, hits the skull-crushing finale for the win. Match itself was so I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was just a little bit of hype going into, Night of Champions where Dolph and The Miz fight for the Intercontinental title again. And I hope The Miz loses. I don't like The Miz, really. I just don't. I hate Damien Sandow's gimmick as well. Alright, then we get a video, and we got to get about, I think, 2 or 3 videos throughout the night entitled Growing Up Bella. And it's Nikki Bella basically telling stories about herself and Brie when they were kids and when they grew up, and that she never told anybody about this, so it was like secrets. Or, Conan goes, Nikki Bella, secrets. So Nikki talks about how Brie stole her high school crush named Ryan, I think, and how he disappeared from Nikki during the prom, and Nikki went out to the parking lot and found Brie and Ryan making out, and Nikki was all crying her eyes out. I never told anyone this before. It was okay. I mean, like I said, I don't like the Brie Bella, Nikki Bella storyline, and I just don't like it. I don't like the match that might be happening at Night of Champions. This whole thing sucks. Speaking of suckage, we get to match number 2. Rosa Mendes, Eva Marie, and Cameron taking on Layla, Summer Rae, and Naomi. Basically, the whole cast of Total Divas beating the crap out of each other. And later, Rosa started off, and it looked sloppy. Then they all start fighting, and Rev's like, fuck this shit. Calls for the bell. Match was... What was this? It shouldn't even have been a match. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. It was horrible. Afterwards, Naomi hits the rear view to Cameron. Then Summer and Layla hit a drop kick on the Eva Marie and Alicia Fox. Was it Alicia? And Cameron, not Cameron. Rosa Mendes, and it was just pure bullcrap. It's horrible. It's horrible. Half these ladies can't wrestle. I mean, I'm looking at Layla and Rosa starting off the match, and Rosa Mendes can't even freaking wrestle. I mean, she's hot to look at, but come on. I'd rather watch the knockouts. And we are going to see a great knockouts title match between Gail Kim and Karen Terrell this Wednesday on Impact. Should be a slobber knocker. But I digress. So, it was horrible. Alright, then we get a recap of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose from 2 weeks ago, where Ambrose got sent through the cinder blocks, and he's out now doing a movie, but they're saying that he might come back at Night of Champions, or the night after Night of Champions, setting up an eventual third match, well, really, 4th match at Hell in a Cell, probably inside Hell in a Cell, but we'll see what happens there. Then he showed last week Seth Rollins tried to put Roman Reigns through the cinder blocks, but Reigns prevailed and almost beheaded Seth with a cinder block. And this was basically hype for the 6-man tag match later. So we'll get to match number 3. Let me just check my thing here. Okay. Mark Henry and the Big Show taking on Rowan and Harper. This match was okay. Basically, Henry and Big Show were beating down Rowan and Harper for most of the match. Then Henry got beat up by Eric Rowan for a while. Henry gets the tag to the Big Show. He takes out Luke Harper. Then he hits a weird kind of hook kick to Eric Rowan. Kind of looks sloppy. Then Harper slams Big Show into the barricade. Ow. It looked like Show was going to get up. It was like a count out. But Show gets in the ring at 9.5. And then he started beating up a Big Show. Big Show tries to come back. Harper stopped it. And then Big Show comes back again. Gets the top tag to Henry. Takes out Luke Harper. And then Rowan breaks up a pin attempt. And then Show takes him out. And they start fighting on the outside near the announce table. And then Henry has Luke Harper in the World's Strongest Slam. But out of nowhere, Alexander Rusev comes out. No, I'm not going to say what I always say about Rusev. He kicks Henry in the face, causing a disqualification, setting up their match at Night of Champions. That was just announced. Then Harper comes in with a chair, but Big Show just goes, puny chair. You know. And then Rowan has a chair on the of his own. He's staying on the apron, and him and Big Show have a stare down. So I don't know if they're going to have a match on Night of Champions. Probably suck anyway. So Eric Rowan leaves, and that was basically it. So it was just a little bit of hype for Rusev and Henry at Night of Champions. The match itself was okay-ish, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get our second Growing Up Bella segment with Nikki Bella. This time she's talking about how Brie stole their car and wrecked it after getting her license. Well, Nikki got her license, but Brie didn't have a license because she failed the test. So Brie took Nikki's car. So Brie had taken Nikki's. Excuse me. So basically, Brie took Nikki's test and given it to the police, so something like that. Then Nikki's like, I never told this one before either. So, like I said, that's all I gotta say about that. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we found out that Michael Sam, formerly of the St. Louis Rams, the first gay player in NFL history, that got released unceremoniously by the Rams, which is stupid. He's being invited to Raw next week, and they're going to give him an open mic. So that should be exciting, since Raw is going to be going head-to-head with Monday Night Football. Yeah, I bet the ratings for that'll be great. I'm talking about Raw, not Monday Night Football. I think Michael Sam's going to the Niners, because the Niners have invested interest in him. Just saying. We could use him, because everybody in the Niners is choking. No. Everybody in the Niners is getting in trouble. I mean, Ray McDonald is about to get probably 6 games for his domestic arrest. Idiot. They just don't learn. The same. Alright, then we see a video package of Cena and Lesnar 2. That leads to Paul Heyman coming out, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for Brock Lesnar. So, he comes out and he says that Lesnar told him to enlighten the fans for being overconfident. That's what Cena is, and he mentions Lesnar beating Cena's ass at SummerSlam. And then we see video, not still video, of Lesnar beating the crap out of Cena. And he says that Brock emasculated Cena. If you don't know what emasculated means, look it up. Do you know what it means, Lou? Of course not. She's playing her game. So Cena has now witnessed the day his manhood was stripped from him. Woohoo! Boy, I don't want to go there. So he mentioned Cena not listening to reason from the Hall of Famers last week, and didn't listen to Triple H's advice tonight. He says Triple H sees Cena as a cash cow who will be milked for the very last time, and that Night of Champions. I hope that happens. This says Cena is desperate to hold on to being relevant. Yeah, well, I don't think he is that relevant. He says Cena will be brilliant tonight in the main event. Yeah, we all know that. But Brock isn't impressed. And then he says you can multiply the entire locker room, but you couldn't equal the beatdown that Cena's going to get at Night of Champions. So, a little bit of hype going into their match. I mean, the hype to the rematch is kind of... I mean, we're not going to see Brock until the week before Night of Champions, because Night of Champions is September 19th. So, Actually, let me just check that. He's going to be on September 15th because Night Champ's on the 29th, 21st, excuse me. So probably next week we'll probably get another one of either Heyman come out again or we're going to get a live via satellite video. Is it me or is it Lesnar turning into The Rock? Maybe it's me. I don't know. So like I said, I give it 3.25 out of 5 stars. Alright, fourth match tonight. Jack Swagger with Zeb Coulter, who just came back. We the people! He's taking on Curtis Axel. This match is kind of boring. I mean, we see Bo Dallas show up on the ramp with like 4 people. I mean, well, 3 people besides him. So, match itself was kind of bleh. Swagger dropped Axel on the ropes, and he starts building momentum after Curtis Axel, used the scratch to his advantage. Swagger came back. He hits the Swagger bomb, but Axel got his boot up, but Swagger countered into the Patriot lock. Curtis Axel tried to get the ropes, but he tapped like a drunk man. And that was basically it. So Swagger gets the victory. Match itself was okay. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, I don't know. I mean, and a lot of people saying this segment this part was great. I thought it was corny. That's just me. Bo Dallas gets on the mic. He starts congratulating Swagger about his big win. Then he introduces the people on stage. He says, well, this is Richie. He's a farmer, and he bet a month's salary on Swagger winning at SummerSlam. Then he hit double or nothing on his rematches. And guess what? Richie's salary's all gone, and he can't even provide for his family. Poor Richie. Richie Cunningham? No. So then he introduces another guy, he looked like a foreigner, named Angelo, and he's upset at Swagger's matches, and he failed his citizenship test. Now he's being deported. Okay. Then you have a young lady named Jennifer. She said that Jennifer's son was Swagger's favorite wrestler, but now it's Alexander Rusev. And they show Vladimir Putin's pic on the Titantron. For what reason, I don't know. Then he's like, Jack, you could turn this all around. And then he wants everybody watching at home in the arena, and the 3 people on the ramp, they stood up, and they say, all you have to do is believe. I really don't want to see this match at Night Champions. I know they're probably going to push Bo Dallas to win this match, but I really hope he doesn't. So I gave the Aftermath 2 out of 5 stars. It was freaking horrible. And even more horrible was the next match. Adam Rose taking on Titus O'Neil. Adam Rose comes out with his rosebuds, blah, blah, blah. So Titus begins the match. He beats on Adam Rose, hits some backbreakers, does his usual shit. And then the bunny that's always with Adam Rose and the Rosebuds, he tries to be funny with Slater. He's just like, oh, look at me, I'm the bunny. So Slater's like, get the fuck out of here. Pushed him down. Then the bunny starts punching Heath Slater, and the fans are going nuts. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Is there something we don't know who's in the bunny outfit? And that was a white guy because he showed his hands. I thought it was Darren Young for a second, but since he's coming back, but it's not him. And this caused a distraction. Adam Rose got the win, but a freaking roll up. Match itself was boring as you know what. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars, and then afterwards, Adam Rose and the bunny like, you did it, yay! And the bunny's like doing this, and he sends Heath Slater into the steps. So guess what? We're probably going to see the bunny taking on Heath Slater next week. Wow! And you can watch this all on the WWE Network for $9.99. Fucking bullshit. More PG era bullcrap. Sick of it. Sick of it. Alright, then we get a third and final Growing Up Bella's video. This time, Nikki talks about Brie being conniving and jealous. And then they show the graduation pic. I think it was from college. Yeah, it was from college. So she says that Brie got a letter saying that if she didn't keep her average up, she's going to be left back. Well, I don't think you can get left back in college, can you? You can't graduate. So it had to be from high school, whatever. So Nikki says that she took the final exam in Brie's place and Brie passed, but I never told everyone. Okay, whatever. Another 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we can see our favorite Russian, Alexander Rusev. Rusev smash Lana pussy, yeah! I love when I say that. So then Lana gets in Lana in her blue dress says, "Today is Labor Day and Americans celebrate another day off. Americans can't educate their youth and shows Americans can be useless and poor. But in Russia, we celebrate knowledge and educate their youth." And then she says, "The fans on Labor Day, how do you say, suck?" Something. That was it, you know. Okay, then Rusev fights Ryder. You know what happens. Rusev beats the crap out of Zack Ryder in about 2 minutes. You know, he knocks in the accolade. Ryder taps like the jobber that he is. Match I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Afterwards, Mark Henry comes out, and then Rusev retreats to the outside. And then Henry cuts a promo saying Rusev is scared, but then he says, "Well, I'm scared too of what I'm going to do to you. If you only knew what I'm going to do to you." Remember that song? Love that song from Power Driver, wrestling album 2. If you don't have that, well, you're not a wrestling fan. Sorry. Rosa doesn't have it. She's not a wrestling fan. So then he praises himself as the world's strongest man in America. America! Then he tells Rusev that he's not invincible since he's undefeated. Well, Rusev is undefeated. He's not invincible. He says, "Well, I opened up an international wing in the Hall of Fame, and you're going to be the first inductee." Not gonna happen. I'm sorry. So I gave the Aftermath 3 out of 5 stars. So that's all I'm going to say. Alright, we go to commercial. We come back with Triple H talking to Stephanie in their locker room about beating Brie Bella. Well, Stephanie beat Brie Bella, of course. Then they talk about Nikki's story about growing up Bella. And Stephanie's like, "Well, my door is always open for Brie to talk." Okay. And she says, "I've given so much in my life, and I want to give some back." And Triple H's like, "Yeah, I love it. I love what you do, Stephanie. You have such a big heart to go with your big boobs." And they start and then they kiss, and then she goes to the ring. Whatever. So I gave that 3 out of 5 stars. So that leads to Stephanie McMahon coming out for a promo. And she says, "As the principal owner of WWE and one of the most powerful female leaders in the world next to Michelle Obama, it's her duty to recognize and commend Nikki Bella for having the courage to tell her story." So she brings Nikki out. You know, the fans are chanting, "Boring!" I can tell. So Nikki comes out in a nice silver dress, you know. And Stephanie starts insulting the fans, praising Nikki, like, "You look great tonight, Nikki, yeah." Then she calls Nikki the face of the Divas division. Really? What about AJ? What about Paige? What about the other Divas that don't matter? The same. Then Stephanie's like, "Well, since you've done such a great job, Nikki, I'm going to award you a Divas title match at Night of Champions." So they start hugging, and Brie Bella comes out with her own music, and Stephanie's like, "Well, cut the music. You can't use that music anymore." Okay. And then Brie's like, "Well, we're going to talk about theme music now?" So Brie then tells Stephanie this doesn't concern her, so Stephanie's like, "Okay." So then Brie asks if Nikki has been lying just to get a title shot, and she says Nikki has turned her life upside down. Then Nikki's like, "Well, I'm just doing this for myself, and I'm going to be the next Divas champion, and the belt that everyone's going to be talking about." Well, aren't they talking about her now because she's kind of going out with Cena? So then AJ's music comes out. I'm like, wait a minute, is this a rehashing of the first segment of the night? Okay. So she comes out skipping down to the ring. We get CM Punk chants, and AJ's like, "Mm-hmm." So AJ then reminds Stephanie that she never got her rematch, so she's the #1 contender. Well, didn't they have a match at SummerSlam? Where's the logic in that, AJ? I just don't know. So AJ then tells Stephanie to do what's best for business and leave the Divas title to her. Well, she got to be Paige first. And then before Stephanie can share her thoughts, Paige comes out, skipping down to the ring as usual, and says, "The only thing missing is this bloody Divas champion." So then Nikki says, "Well, I will forgive Brie under one condition, that Brie quits the WWE again." So Nikki says that Brie quit for her husband Daniel, but you won't do it for your sister, your own flesh and blood. Then she tells Brie to go have a bunch of troll babies with Danny Bryan and never come back. And she starts yelling at Brie. She's like, leave! Leave the ring! Get out of here! Leave me alone! Bad acting at its worst. I'm telling you. You know, Brie turns around, leaves the ring, and then Brie stops and shoves Nikki in the Paige, and both go in like dominoes. Then Brie leaves the ring as a yes chant starts. Then AJ gets the Divas title, and then she runs around skipping and skipping as her music plays. And then Stephanie just gets in her face, and the music stops, and they have a stare down. I'm like, oh boy, we're gonna get the match that everybody wants to see. Stephanie and AJ. And Stephanie's like, give me back the Divas title, AJ. So AJ's like, you know, does her usual, like, I'm gonna be serious. No, I'm gonna be crazy. And I'm like, hee. You know, then hands it over, but stares at Stephanie as she leaves. And then AJ starts skipping away, and Paige's music hits, and she gets the title back from Stephanie. And then she starts skipping out of the ring. Skip to my news. So, it was an okay segment. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't know where it was going right there. I guess setting up more of the stupid Brie Bella and Nikki Bella crap. That was it. Alright, then we find out that next week on Raw, Bray Wyatt's gonna take on Chris Jericho in a steel cage, brother! And then Bray cut a promo that I didn't even bother to even watch, so sorry about that. So we get the match number 7, Jimmy Uso taking on Goldust. This match was boring. Goldust wanted to apologize for last week's attack on Jey Uso, who hurt his knee. Poor guy. And then they started attacking him before the match. The match was boring. The Usos fly onto both men, even though Jimmy... No, was it Jimmy? Yeah, Jey, you know, hurt his knee again. And then Goldie, afterwards, Goldust hits Jimmy with a final cut for the win. You know, just setting up their match at Night of Champions for the tag team titles. Afterwards, then Goldust and Stardust take Jey Uso, wrap his leg around the ring post, and then Stardust gets a little crazy and he goes, smash Jey Uso's knee to smithereens with a chair shot. And I read a story that Jey Uso has stretched ligaments in his knee, and he's going to be taken for an MRI, some X-rays. So I still think that you know he's going to be out for a couple weeks to heal up, and then he'll be at Night of Champions, and probably the Usos will beat Goldust and Stardust, and then I think the Ascension will come up probably right after that, and then they'll win at Hell in a Cell. I'm just saying, that's what I'm thinking. I would hate for the WWE to give it to Goldust and Stardust, and then have the Ascension come in and beat them, unless the Ascension's going to be baby faces when they come up, which is stupid. Whatever. So, the whole thing I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get another recap of Ambrose getting taken out by Seth 2 weeks ago and Roman Reigns. Like I mentioned, you know, just hyping up the main event. Then we get a Total Divas Season 3 trailer shown. So, then we get another recap of Henry and Big Show taking on Rowan and Harper from early in the night. Then we see Big Show and Mark Henry in the locker room. And then Show says that him and Henry could be the most dominant tag team in WWE history, but he wants Henry to beat Rusev and wants to be in his corner. Henry's like, well, I appreciate that, but I want to do it by myself. I got to do it for my country. This is America. And then Show's like, yeah, you're going to put Rusev in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Okay. Pointless segment. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Alright, then we get to the main event. Cena, Roman Reigns, and Jericho taking on Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, and Kane. This match was actually not a bad match. You know, back and forth throughout. You know, Kane was working on Roman Reigns for a while, and you know the heels were taking out Roman Reigns. Reigns finally gets a hot tag to Jericho. You know, Jericho comes in, hits Rollins with a code breaker. Then they go to commercial. They come back. Rollins is in control now, and he hits a big running right hand in the corner. Goes up top for a move on Jericho, but Jericho drop kicks him in midair. Kane then comes in and stops Jericho from tagging, and I think it was Roman Reigns or Cena. And Cena's like, oh, I want to be tagged. You know, then Kane slams Jericho, gets a couple near falls. Then Jericho finally gets the hot tag to Cena, and then Cena does his usual 5 moves of bullshit. You know, and he'll lose on Kane, drops Rollins with a kick. Kane then comes in for a choke slam. Jericho saves him, and Orton takes him out. Cena hits a clothesline on Kane. Then he hits a sick-as fuck German suplex on Rollins. I think Rollins broke his neck. I mean, some fans in the front were like, oh my god! You know, then he hits the Attitude Adjustment on Kane for the win. Or actually, before he didn't get the win, he starts on the Authority. He's like, he tags in Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns hits the spear for the win. So for once, Cena did the right thing and didn't have to freaking make Raw suck. Well, it sucked even worse. Get the win. So Reigns picks up the win on Kane. Match was okay. I gave it 3.25 out of 5 stars. 3.25 out of 5 stars. I can't talk. Afterwards, Cena goes to ringside and starts yelling at Triple H. Says, did I prove myself now, Hunter? Did I prove myself now? I prove myself to the kids. Then Rollins tries a sneak attack, but Cena catches him, drops him on the announce table with an AA. Then he tells Triple H, I'm going to see Lesnar at Night of Champions. So his music hits. He hits the ring to celebrate. The announcers start... What the hell's that? The announcers plug next week's Raw. I'm hearing things. And Raw goes off the air with Reigns, Jericho posing. Cena gets a... This was the funny part at the end of the night. Cena goes outside, gets a fan's sign that said, you can't see me. So he brings it in the ring, and he holds it up the wrong side! Botchamania! That's going to be on Botchamania in about 5 hours from now. I don't know when the next Botchamania will come up. But he all of a sudden tagged me in. Botch much, Cena? You freaking idiot. So, it was pretty funny. Aftermath, I gave 3 out of 5 stars. But Raw tonight was pure boring! So I gave it 5.5 out of 10 stars. You know, they're hyping a big Raw next week from Baltimore, Maryland. You know, Bray Wyatt taking on Jericho in a steel cage. Orton and Reigns going at it. We'll see what happens with Cena and Lesnar going forward. And that's basically it. So we'll find out what happens on Main Event SmackDown later in the week. And that's pretty much it. So, and as well, Michael Sam might be on Raw next week to discuss where he's going to go from here. I don't know. So it should be exciting. So, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of Raw. Leave a comment or a video reply down below. And that's pretty much it. So, I'm out. But actually, before I go, thank you all for watching. Watch my other videos on TGC Reborn and The Metal God 669. TGC 82 is coming tomorrow with my big NFL preview, because I know I want to do it Saturday, but the season starts on Thursday, so I want to get that done out of the way before I do my Ring of Honor All-Star Extravaganza predictions, which is on Saturday night. So I'm going to try to do it Friday night or Saturday morning before I go anywhere. So check those out. I got a couple of videos coming up on The Metal God 669 probably later in the week. So check that out. Got a couple of video responses that I want to do. I am going to do Q&A number 10. Hopefully I'll do that the end of this week. No, I'm a busy freaking guy. So, whatever. So thank you all for watching. Leave a comment down below what you thought of Raw. Hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button to death. And share this video all over the internet. So have a great rest of your week, everybody. Be safe. And I'm out. Peace.